Hello, listener. It's CJ. Real quick, before we jump into the episode this week, you know that we pride ourselves on giving you fantastic content here on this podcast. Not only with the audio, but also the conversation. This week, we had an issue with Josh's microphone. Now, don't worry, we're going to get it fixed in the next coming weeks, but I could not deprive you of the amazing conversation that he and I had about Spider Man No Way Home, and he's got a really great rant about time travel movies that you definitely want to listen to. So, just know that we're going to adjust it. Everything will be back to normal soon, but this is a fantastic episode, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So without further ado, Jimmy, can you do the thing?
Welcome to the club, cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, and I'm joined by the best co-host that I have. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joshua Burns.
What up? And can you really say that 2 weeks in a row and mean it?
I checked the bylaws. Yes, I can.
All right. Fair enough.
That's because Brian's the co-host.
Ah.
Right. You're the co-host.
Gotcha. There's a difference. I can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah.
It's like Brian and Brian.
That's right. You still don't have it, but
I don't
get
understand that at all.
No.
Is there really a difference?
There is, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll never understand it. So welcome to Just Us. How come we don't have a cool nickname? You got the Burnstons when it's you and Brian. Am I just not cool enough to get a nickname?
I don't know, man. I'm not I didn't do the nickname thing. Like, I think Brian did that.
Makes sense.
I'm not good at I don't like doing the nicknames.
The nickety names.
I'll let other people do it.
Listen, we got a couple of nerdy things to talk about this week, but we got to start it off with the biggest nerd story of all, as we finally got a trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. At one point, I really thought that Sony Marvel, I don't know again how that decision is made up, that they were just like, listen, does anyone need a fucking trailer? You're all going to see the movie. You're going to
see it one way or the other.
You don't need to know what's happening. There's no need for this. Just go ahead. Here, we're just going to go. We're never going to show you a trailer. But it finally happened. December is the release date for the movie, and I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, it's going to stay that way. I really hope it doesn't get any kind of delay or anything going on. That would really suck.
They have to be like pretty much done at this point, right?
I think it's one of those things of they need, like, Sony needs that box office money, and Sony doesn't have its own streaming service besides Crackle, and I doubt highly that they're going to drop this on Crackle.
Crackle's terrible.
No one's going to be like, oh, I'll sign up for Crackle. So I really want this to come out in theaters and
look, the trailer was amazing. The teaser, I should say, was very cool. It was cool to see. But got me excited for waiting another year or whatever. However, like, immediately all of the fan theories begin.
Oh, I do hate that.
And I hate it so much. Like, I don't want to hear what you think. It's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen.
The one thing I saw too was like, there's that scene where they're like, someone's coming into the apartment, Aunt May and him sitting on a couch, and the cops are outside. So you see the black and blue, the red and blue lights in the windows. And someone's like, there's a flash of red, and that blue could be Spider-Man's dimensions opening up. I'm like, why? Because Spider-Man's red. No, it's a fucking police car. Like, that's, what are you doing? And of course, my favorite one, ever since fucking WandaVision decided to come up with its own theories, is I saw that thing and Peter Parker had the devil horns. Mephisto! I was like, fuck you. Get out. No, you are not allowed to talk anymore. Speaking privileges revoked.
Christian said Mephisto, and I said, walk away from me.
Why I'm okay with people going, is that faceless body there? Is that Matt Murdock? He slammed some files on the table. It could be Matt Murdock. And I'm like, oh, it could be. Sure.
Yeah, it could be any number of things.
It could be a scroll, right? It could be anything. We've already put scrolls in a Spider-Man movie, so scrolls. So just, calm down. But what I was very, very excited to see was all the confirmation for these villains coming back. I mean, we heard Willem Dafoe's laugh with the pumpkin bomb. I mean, we got Doc Ock from Tobey Maguire. Like, We got the Sandman, and there is confirmation, I think, that Electro's in there, and with the yellow lightning, that's more comics accurate. No actual Jamie Foxx shown, but I mean, it's pretty safe to say I think Jamie Foxx will be in there. So it's nice to see these villains showing up that we're kind of hoping for.
Well, we kind of knew it was going to be a Sinister Six kind of thing. And so you have, basically the whole movie for each villain to be addressed individually, and then probably at the end they join forces, right? I mean, I don't think we see like a big boss fight in this movie. I think we see a bunch of little ones.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing is, though, I know we saw Doc Ock on that bridge, and we saw that pumpkin bomb on the same bridge. But again, that could just be them coming out and making disaster and then departing. Because, I think that
maybe that's where they enter, right? I mean, maybe that's their breach point, so to speak. Who knows? But and I don't want to. Again, I don't want to get into a ton of it, but I think it just doesn't seem like the way Marvel has done all of these movies so far, like they would just be like, in the first 30 minutes, here are the Sinister Six.
But at the same time, I'm down for that. If they just want to be like, let's fucking go.
There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to do the setup. You have to start with this MJ scene where they're swinging away from the announcement. Like, there's at least a good 15 minutes of, hey, here's what just happened. This seems like it rolls right from the last movie right on.
And it's not this is going to be the third movie of the phase. Is that right?
This is Tom Holland's third solo Spider-Man movie. Correct?
No. Of the new Marvel phase.
This is phase 4. Yes.
And this will be the third movie, right? Shang-Chi is first.
Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and then Spider-Man. Yes.
Oh, I forgot about Black Widow. How did I forget about Black Widow? Well,
that would be number one.
Yeah, but not really.
I guess it's technically not a phase 4 movie.
Right.
That's right. So Shang-Chi, then Spider-Man.
Oh, there's the Eternals isn't in there?
I don't think is the Eternals later? Oh, now I got to check release dates. Brian, I'm sorry.
Shang-Chi, Eternals, then No Way Home, then Doctor Strange. So we're talking about the third movie in phase 4. Like there's going to be, it's got to be a ton of setup, because if I'm, and maybe I'm crazy, right? Maybe I'm completely mistaken, but this is meant to stand alone, right? This new phase.
Yeah, like they're not all intricately connected, correct?
Well, right. So like you should be able to go into this movie, I don't know why, but having never seen, right? And at least get a feel for what's going on.
Well, that, and I think the other part too is like these events, like the events of Shang-Chi, I don't think directly interfere or connect to the events of Spider-Man.
Yeah, so I do think this movie is going to be a lot more about setup than it is going to be about sort of reveal.
We obviously still didn't get confirmation of the other two Spider-Man.
We just say Spider-Man.
We haven't seen the other Peter Parkers show up in this trailer or teaser yet, and I think that's either A, something you never put in a trailer, or B, you plaster it all over the next one. So I know that's only two options, people, but yeah, that's the world. I guess that's the only two options.
What if it was just like a bunch of different teasers from a bunch of different angles? Like that would be cool.
Like you get one from Tobey Maguire's perspective, one from Andrew Garfield's perspective, and then one from that would be fun. That would be fun. I would like that.
Right.
But then at
having no tie-in, no spoiler whatsoever, and maybe the teaser material doesn't even appear in the movie. Like that would piss
me off.
No, that would be really cool. Like that's what I want to see.
Again, I really listen. I'm sold. Right? Like I'm
sure.
Of course I was sold. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about this. Let me ask you a question too. This trailer leaked the day or two before by literally somebody holding up a phone on TikTok, recording off of another phone to show this pre-viz trailer for this movie. Did you watch that pre-viz trailer?
No.
So here's what's great about it. The director of this movie, James Webb, right? I know his last name is Webb because it's funny that he's directing Spider-Man movies.
Sure.
Anyway, he put out a picture on his Instagram which has the trailer on his phone, and he's taking a picture of it on his phone and saying, "As the director intended, thanks for waiting." And I was like, you cheeky bastard. Very nice. I did watch the pre-viz leak. Mainly because
Really?
I did. Also because I also watched Wolverine Origins that way when they leaked the previs before everything was done. I just like to see the movies before they're done. For example, if you've ever watched any of the behind the scenes footage of Supergirl or The Flash, it's hilarious. Oh, it's so fun. Nothing like a guy standing there with his arms wide open, out and going in circles and going, ah! It's hilarious. I just like to watch it. I like to see movies before they're movies sometimes. I watch all the deleted scenes and all the like visual effects breakdowns. So like that was fun for me. But
I remember like what a fan you were of the what was it called? The Snyder Cut?
no, that's not previs. That was $70 million going into that visual.
What was the other one? That was it the Wolverine?
Yeah, the Wolverine Origins, you know what, with the claws in the bathroom scene that looked like someone's just like, I haven't done visual effects before.
You were a big fan. You were a big fan of that.
I think they can copy, but that's a finished product, and it looked like shit. This was obviously not an intentional product, but it was just fun. I really, though, enjoyed this trailer. There's so much to that I'm excited for, and I'm really trying to just shut the theories out. Just go in with enjoying the movie for what it is. Go in with the expectations of I'm going to have a good time, and not trying to live up to a theory that I have, and I'll be very happy. I know I'll be good on that.
I don't want to pick everything apart. I just want to experience the movie. Just let me watch the movie and not think about it.
Which means half of your TikTok watching has to go like, oh, fuck scroll.
Yeah, well, it's not even. You know what, man? I don't follow a ton of those people, so that doesn't really hit my For You page a lot. So, which is good because I'm not interested in that content at all.
That's about right. I'm okay with just saying no thanks. I'll just enjoy the movie as it is. All right. So definitely excited. Can't wait to talk more about this as details come out, and more importantly, cannot wait to see this movie. And Shang-Chi's right around the corner, so I'm like super excited to see that too. So
yep,
cannot wait. All right. So we saw this trailer was released for Spider-Man No Way Home at CinemaCon, and of course there's so much going on with that this year. But another movie also got a sneak peek and getting a lot of good buzz, and that is one of my most anticipated movies of the year and of last year when it should have come out, is Top Gun Maverick. They apparently screened the first 15 minutes
13 minutes
13 minutes of this movie, getting a ton of great buzz. Now here's what I'll say, just as a caveat to this. I'm a completely biased for this movie. There's nothing you can say about this movie that would get me upset or make me mad or not want to see it. So I'm in. But also, like, I've also been invited to an early screening of a movie. I saw King Arthur, the one with
Legend of the Sword.
Yeah, Legend of the Sword. I got to see that a couple days early, and I remember leaving that movie going, "Yeah, that was awesome," and then thinking back on it, going, "Not as good as I really think it was."
See, I love that movie. I don't know why you guys shit on that movie.
The third act really, it was the whole like sword battle scene after everything. It got weird. You love Guy Ritchie though, so nothing I could say would ever sway you from a Guy Ritchie movie.
No,
just like nothing anyone could ever say would discourage me from Top Gun Maverick. But it's getting great buzz on it. People saying things like, "I saw the first 13 minutes. It starts like the original film, same text, same font, same music, goes into danger zone. And just when it got you, we get a new story with Maverick being Maverick. So beyond pumped." Like, I feel like that was written by me.
Yeah, it's Top Gun's a real nostalgia movie, right? And if you were born in 1980 like I was, and you saw this movie when you were very young, like I was 5 or 6, I've loved it my entire life. So I'm excited. I'm going to see it either way. It doesn't matter what anybody says about Top Gun. I don't know why I thought it was already out.
Because it was supposed to come out already.
Right. But I feel like I've been waiting for 3 years for this.
Yes.
Has it been?
It was supposed to. Yeah, actually, now that I really think about it, I think we're at the 2-year mark for this movie, and it was teased so heavily, and it was supposed to come out right around the time that all this stuff happened.
Okay.
That it feels like you should have seen this movie already twice.
This is one of those.
There should already be a sequel in the ready and in the works and done for this.
Yeah. So there are a handful of movies from when I was a kid that I absolutely love. And Tom Cruise has a couple of those. But Top Gun is absolutely up there. So I can't wait. Regardless of whether or not it looks awesome, I don't care. Yep. I want to see it right now, and we have to wait till November, right?
November 17th.
19th.
Is it the 19th?
Yeah, 19th.
I could talk about that movie for like 9 years, by the way. I'm like, I wonder who.
Yeah, there's
mystery with this movie.
There's no mystery. They're gonna tell a fun story, and we're gonna have fun watching it. And
who
really,
is Miles
that's
Teller? Is Miles Teller Goose's son?
Who cares?
I do.
Well, you're gonna find out in 2 months, 3 months.
You also put this article in here, and I wanted to talk about this. It says, "Why does everyone suddenly hate Ted Lasso?"
I don't know. And I don't understand. Like, I saw that article and went, I don't know who this everyone is, but I'm not in that. I'm not included.
I am
in that.
also very not much in this camp.
And I read through the article, and the guy, the author has no idea why people are feeling the way they're feeling. I'm not seeing a ton of negative whatever, but I'm not looking for people's reactions to Ted Lasso. I will say this: Laura and I watch this together every week.
Yep.
And at the end of every episode, both of us are like, "Oh, it's so good."
Yeah,
it's so good. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel things: happy, sad, anxious, excited, emotions, right? Yeah. And it's Bill Lawrence did a great job. Obviously, but like the actors really carry it over. What I didn't know, and Laura told me last week when we watched 2 episodes last week, that Roy Kent, the guy that plays Roy Kent's one of the writers. I didn't know that, but that's awesome. So I just very, very much love the show, love the direction it's going. And it's funny for it being a sports-ish show. Like, I don't feel myself thinking any kind of way about the feasibility of a team going without a win or loss for a while, or I don't feel any kind of way about Ted Lasso's record as a coach, because I don't feel like soccer's the same as American sports.
It's definitely not like it's really not, in the sense of also we as Americans don't pay any attention to it. And it seems like because you can have 0-0, right? You can have draws
right
all the time, that like a loss or a tie isn't like a huge deal. Being relegated is, right? And everything that happened. Spoiler alerts, by the way. If you are not watching Ted Lasso, stop listening to this and go watch the first episode.
Ted Lasso.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you are welcome.
This PSA is brought to you by Josue Figueroa.
For sure.
We owe all our Ted Lasso.
Oh, he was banging that drum for a year before I watched it.
Yep. But again, being relegated is, but everything else isn't. And also, Ted himself doesn't put that pressure on him, right? He says that his job is to make these guys better men, better athletes, and just better people, right? And that's how he views success. But what this season, I just watched episode 6, right, of season 2, and it's great. It's a freaking great episode. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's probably the best episode of this season yet. And that's hard to say because every week is the best episode.
It really does. It really does get better as it goes. I haven't watched episode 6 yet.
Dude, it's really good. I don't want to spoil anything. It takes a nice turn in a way that you are not ready for, but at the same time completely ready for. And you're mad about it, but also you're really happy. It does the whole range. It's a classic Bill Lawrence episode of him just messing with you, going, we're going on a ride. Things are going to happen to a lot of people. You're going to have mixed feelings about it, but you're safe. Like, I got you. So, like, it's so good. I don't know why anyone hates on this show. I get why people are sleeping on this show, right? And I think that takes us to our a larger discussion left to have, which is just Apple TV Plus, right? And when we talk about Apple TV Plus, the problem is it came out like 2 years ago, right? And I don't think I started paying for it until like last month. Or this month. I haven't gotten my credit yet from Apple for this month. There's not a whole lot on Apple TV Plus that I'm just like, if you're not watching Apple TV Plus, you're losing out on some of the best content. Or how could you not have this in your streaming service repertoire? Like, I get why people don't. I'm kind of curious, just though, your general impression of Apple TV Plus as a platform, as a streaming service. Is it something that you're enjoying, or are you just kind of circumstantially, haphazardly watching this stuff?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it haphazardly or even circumstantially. There have been some things that I've gone out of my way to watch. I think the morning show was the first thing I watched on there.
I never even finished the first season.
And I liked it very much. Season 2 is coming up, and I'm excited for that because, I mean, it was really good. And a couple movies.
Really?
Movie Cherry, Tom Holland.
I didn't watch that. Was it good?
It was very good.
Okay.
And I would absolutely recommend checking that out. There was, I think, one other. I tried to watch Truth Be Told, and I couldn't. I don't know if I just took too long to get going or what. Mythic Quest, no, because I hate that guy.
Really?
That guy.
Rob.
I hate really anyone with any connection to
Sunny.
Always Sunny. That isn't.
You hate
Danny
DeVito? Okay,
none that isn't Danny DeVito, and I don't actually hate Charlie Day, but the other three are the characters are so loathsome. I can't. I just don't like them as people at this point.
Interesting. I didn't think the morning show would be a show that you would that you would be like, I'm all about. What gravitated you to that show?
I think that what drew me in was the cast. And I understood the premise. And was, obviously I was a little at least a little hesitant because I don't want to watch something that's going to be preachy, and it wasn't. It didn't turn out that way. And I think there's a lot of stuff going on with the story that keeps you watching. Really like Mark Duplass very much. Steve Carell was fine. I thought Reese Witherspoon was great. I thought Jennifer Aniston was great. Billy Crudup. Just overall,
the cast really fired it off.
Yeah, but the story was really well written.
Okay.
And it's a good show to watch. There's a good deal of humor in there. And it's a serious show, but in the same way that Studio 60 was serious, and I hate to draw the parallel to Aaron Sorkin, but
invoke the Sorkin name here. Okay,
yeah, but there's not really another. I can't give you another frame of reference because it isn't as good as The Newsroom, which is also Sorkin.
Love that show.
Great show, and a really great show that takes on edgy stuff without being preachy, right?
Yeah.
The morning show was able to do that. It was able to stay topical and relevant without making the viewer feel like he or she was being admonished for feeling a certain kind of way about the characters, and that's a big deal.
Yeah. Especially with the subject matter that they cover.
That's right. When you're tackling a subject matter that could be polarizing, being able to do it in a way that is mature and doesn't make the viewer feel a certain kind of way for feeling a certain kind of way, basically, which is, I think, something that Sorkin does incredibly well. No matter where you fall on a topic that's covered in an Aaron Sorkin show, you're not made to feel badly for how you feel, which is you're just meant to enjoy the viewing experience, right? So the morning show actually for me did that, and I mean, really the character development's cool to watch, and I don't know how spot on it is with the industry, but I like the view behind the curtain.
Right. Okay.
And I feel like I'm getting that with the morning show.
All right. I'll have to give it. I remember getting about halfway through it, and then just with Apple TV as it is, just the way that it exists with the app inside the app, essentially, I kind of forget about the originals because I go and there's my Amazon list and there's my HBO Max list and there's everything but my Netflix looking at me going, oh, right, okay, I'll watch that. And then, oh, right, I forget Apple has originals. The one thing I've liked in my time of watching Apple TV 2 was also Little America. It's an anthology series, so nothing obviously connected. It's made by Kumail Nanjiani and his wife and then some other people that are responsible for Master of None. And it tells the story about immigrants coming to America or being first generation in America, and some of it's just the trials and tribulations, but also just like the willingness to overcome and persevere, and just also having fun with being in this country. And hearing some of these stories is really fun. Like a guy from who immigrated to Texas, and all he wants to be is a cowboy, right? And he walks in and he's like, I want a cowboy hat. And they're just like, all right, let's hook you up. Okay, fine. And he gets the boots, and he's trying to fit in, but like he really wanted this. He wanted that experience, and he found a community that finally lets him have it, but then it's clashing with his traditional culture. It's just got a lot of really fun episodes and ideas and perspectives that I've never ever had to consider in my life. That is just, again, it's just fun to see the other side of that curtain. Again, you kind of get a peek into someone else's life, and they're not all connected, so you can spend half an hour, come back another day, and you get a completely different story. It's really good. The same thing with For All Mankind. I really enjoyed that story. The second season, I haven't watched it yet because I kind of wanted to all just be done, and then I'll just binge watch the sucker.
Right.
But it looks real great. And the more that I say, hey, I'm going to watch something, I get excited about it. I think you're wrong with Mythic Quest. Once you get past the stars and you actually pay attention to what's happening, it's a really good story. It's a lot of fun. And it also just, there's times where it makes you hurt in the feels. Where you're just watching somebody going, no, bad decision. They're like, this is a bad decision, isn't it? Yes. Well, I've already set my path. Goodbye. Like,
there are things that I want to watch, and right. I still like, so Tehran, is that what it's called? Hold on. Yeah, Tehran. So it's a Mossad agent who goes deep cover on a mission in Tehran.
Oh, wow.
And it so she's a spy, right? The show's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Like right up until you get to some episodes are incredibly heavily subtitled. And I can't focus on I can't. If they're on the screen, it ruins everything for me because I can neither watch nor read at that point.
Right. I'm laughing because I sent you a screenshot because I'm rewatching The West Wing annually as I do, and I probably watched this since I met you, so at least 10 years, right? I've watched this show, and I know every episode by heart at this point, and I still have the subtitles on, and I took a picture, and you were. Brian just been relentlessly tortured me about it.
And there's no need. The's no need for it at all.
I watch it all the time.
I watched Green Street Hooligans with Christian the other night, and we had like 5 minutes into the movie, and he goes, "Do you understand what they're saying?" I said, "Yes, they're speaking English." He's like, "I can't." I'm like, "Well, then you're never going to be able to watch a Guy Ritchie movie." Like, if this
exactly, that's exactly right.
There's just no way. He's like, "No, I'll figure it out." Okay, good, right? Because they're speaking English. So I like having that, and it was the same thing. There was 1 or 2 seasons of Homeland that a few episodes were heavily subtitled.
Yeah,
and I had to go back a few times and rewatch those episodes. So Tehran is one I want to watch, but I need to be able to, it's one of those things that I have to dedicate the hour. Yeah. No devices. It can't be background noise because I won't know what's going on. What's funny is I started, a couple months ago, I started The West Wing. I got through season 1. And I was just like, I can't commit. I can't commit to this right now.
That's a commitment.
Well, yeah, it's 123 hours.
Yep. Ready for it.
And I've done it. This this is the 10th. This would have been the 10th time through. So I'd done it 9 times before, and I was like, I can't do it. I need something else. So I rewatched Sons of Anarchy, and then I rewatched Elementary, and just a whole bunch of So I went through Sons of Anarchy, and then Elementary, and then Sherlock, and now I'm rewatching Suits. I'm in season 2 of Suits.
I'm in the middle of rewatching Suits. The other thing too is the last show on Apple TV Plus that I caught my eye, and I just don't know if I'm going to like it or not, is Mr. Corman.
Oh yeah, so and that's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you,
You're
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, and I've watched the previews for it. It looks cool, but it seems like I'm going to need to be in the kind of mood where I don't feel like despair about life at the beginning of the episode, because by the end, right?
You may not come out the other side
That's
right
right.
way.
Right.
Yeah, and he has Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I act like I know him. He has the
Joey,
JGL. He's got the propensity to make stuff like that. Of just like, I'm in a weird place. Let me get this out. Here you go. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not in your headspace. I'm very excited to watch. I'm just not in the right headspace to watch you yet. So you'll have to wait until my mental health is at a good spot before I can go in. So allow me to listen to Bo Burnham's Inside for the 90th time and then come out the other side and be like, all right, I'm ready to watch your show.
Right. It's one of those like, man, there's a lot going on at work and that's stressful.
Exactly.
The summer's coming to an end and the kids are starting, like Zoe's going to middle school and that's stressful. And there's, and I'm just like, I'm just going to watch Elementary. Man, I'm just going to watch Cheryl. I'm going to watch things that make me feel good.
Right. They're comfort shows. It's like soul food, but with TV.
And I couldn't I think that's why I started The West Wing. But then I couldn't. Here's the thing: when I commit to that, it's really a race to the it's a race to the Matt Santos run. That's where I want to get to, and I'm like, I can't go through all of these. I can't go through all of it.
Right. I bring up Apple TV Plus again. It's been. Oh, that's even worse than it's been a while.
No, it's not. No,
really?
That's way worse. Yeah, that's far worse.
I bring up Apple TV Plus because, again, it's been 21 months, right? November of 2019 when this thing launched. I think I'm finally paying for it for the first time. And it's something I'm going to keep, but I love Ted Lasso a lot. And that is the show that's really making me say, I'll go rewatch. I want to rewatch that again. I'll rewatch an episode I just watched, or I'll go back to season 1 and come back to where I am before the next week is done, right? Before the next episode comes out. And this show is so great. And Brian and I have talked about the fact that this isn't about a broken man in a broken world. We're not trying to break down Ted Lasso. We're trying to bring that positivity. We're trying to bring that belief into the show and making a great world where, everyone can just be positive. And that's okay. And that's kind of a cynical thing to see on TV right now. And it's so refreshing that I cannot wait every single week for a new episode. It's such a good show.
And Jason Sudeikis, like the most unlikely of, in my opinion, right? I
have never seeked out his content.
No, absolutely not.
Even Horrible Bosses, I was like, there are other draws that Jason Sudeikis.
I was not interested in Ted Lasso because Jason Sudeikis, and then between you and Josue, just like, oh no, it's a great show. It's great. I'm thinking, really? It's a great show. Okay, give it a shot. Gave it a shot. Man, so good. And I think, the other thing with Apple TV Plus is that you said we're almost at the 2-year mark. It's part of my whatever Apple One subscription or whatever that is. But I feel like most streaming services probably take this long just to get ahead of steam. Right,
with the exception of Disney Plus, that's the only one that launched perfectly fine.
Right, but that wasn't like the case with Netflix or Hulu or Prime Video, right? For none of them, right? It took a while, and it wasn't until just a couple of years ago that Prime Video was putting out really quality original content. So, I think for Apple TV Plus to be where it's at right now, when it's happening, is a good thing, and it certainly as a streaming service did not flop.
No.
So they had to give it away for free for a bunch of time, and now it's part of subscriptions, right? So for anybody listening, if you're an Apple user and you are already using Apple Music, which you should be, and you're using iCloud, which you should be, if basically you just convert that over to Apple One, it's free. It's free. It's 100% free. So like, just, you know, there's nothing, you don't lose anything. And actually you're still getting if you're not a user, you're still getting 6 months for free when you buy an Apple device. So like, you know, if you're not currently trying it out, check it out. At the very least, go watch Ted Lasso. You're going to love it.
100% agree with that. All right, cool. All right, this is the Josh Burns episode, it seems like, really. So you also dropped into our subjects here. 20 movies about time travel ranked worst to best.
Yeah, well, you said, you know, what should we talk about? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me look.
I got to tell you, the image that they use is from Palm Springs. Right? Is that the name of the show?
Yeah, it's from Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, which is a great fucking movie.
Well, so
I enjoy that immensely.
And as did I. I don't like Andy Samberg even a little bit, but I like that movie very much. But all right, so let's talk about, just for a moment.
You got to readjust. You got to get in the battle positions.
Yeah, I do. I want to talk for a moment about, like, what got my attention was 20 movies about time travel ranked worst to best. And I thought, I like movies about time travel. I would like to see what these 20 movies are and how you have them ranked, which is what caught my attention. Then I opened the thing and I see Andy Samberg from Palm Springs, and I went, well, that's not about time travel at all. And then, so what I found is immediately they have a poorly defined idea of time travel, okay? Because here's the thing.
I guess
they have several aspects of what they are calling time travel in here. So the Groundhog Day thing, which is Palm Springs.
Yes.
Then also the reliving a time in my life, which is like Peggy Sue Got Married or When We First Met, which would also include movies that are better than those that weren't on this list, like 13 Going on 30 or 17 again. And so, all right, a poorly defined premise first, and we're right back to like these websites not being able to properly compile a list.
Correct.
So what I did was I started thinking, and I spent maybe an hour on this, and I found 35 movies that were not included on this list,
right,
that fit all of one or more of these themes.
Sure.
That they completely missed out on, and I didn't understand.
I guess you're right. You're thinking, because Groundhog Day is also on this with Palm Springs, and that's
right.
And same with Peggy Sue. You're right. Those are not necessarily time travel, but time loops.
Right, and if you want, I have time travel movies we can talk about if you want to talk about time travel.
Yeah, right.
But you're not talking about just time travel.
Yeah.
Right? Peggy Sue Got Married, not time travel, right? It's in the same vein as, like, say, Pleasantville, which would be a better example of that.
Okay, yeah. I guess you're right. That's not time. They're not time traveling in Pleasantville.
No, 13 Going on 30, same idea, right? It's reliving a moment or a time or whatever, and click, same premise.
No, you're very right. I do like the inclusion of some of these movies. I think first off, just anytime you're going to be talking about a list like this, just take Back to the Future as a trilogy, and it takes up one slot. All right, I don't need 1, 2, and 3 in separate parts.
Okay, and
one slot.
I don't think I agree with that, because because I wouldn't put Terminator 1 and 2 in the same slot. Terminator is not one slot, and they're all about time travel.
See, again, I view if you do with all the reboots and sequels and prequels,
you put Terminator 1 above Terminator 2, or you put Terminator 2 on top?
Terminator 2 on top.
I put Terminator 2 on top as well, knowing that you can't put them in the same slot.
But I do like the one inclusion that they have, which I agree also kind of with its placement, which is About Time. I think that movie does a interesting take on time travel, because there's no the time travel aspect is not magic. It's not. It just is. It just is an ability. And I love the message at the end of it. And you put the rom-com theme in there, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm all about it. So it is a fantastic inclusion on this list. It was number 3, and I wholeheartedly agree with its placement. It's a top-tier time travel movie.
I agree. Now, I have to get some of my gripes out of the way.
All right, grind my gears.
I have gripes.
Go ahead.
Now, this article dropped 3 days ago, August 24th, 2021. So, like, they have the benefit of all of the movies ever made before now. I have I think a pretty comprehensive list that they did not have included any of these movies, and I got to go through them because I don't understand. If you're making a list about time travel movies and you don't include Endgame, what the fuck are you doing?
I guess you're right. Yeah, because it's a time heist.
If you're making a list and you're including movies like Palm Springs and Groundhog's Day and you don't include Edge of Tomorrow, what are you doing?
That's also very true. But is that reliving a moment? Isn't that Groundhog's Day?
It's Groundhog Day.
But they're including Palm Springs. So, okay, I see what you're saying.
You've included Groundhog Day and Palm Springs, but not Edge of Tomorrow. Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1. That should be on here. Is Interstellar on this list? No. How is Interstellar not on this list?
And that little maneuver is going to cost us about 30 years.
And Tenet is not on this list.
I'm okay with that.
And you shouldn't be. And the new the Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto Star Trek is not on this list.
Yeah.
Nero traveled through time.
That's right.
There are now 2 Spocks. It's a time travel movie. Predestination, I understand. It's a whatever. Arrival. Days of Future Past.
Oh, yeah.
Looper. Hot Tub Time Machine. 13 going on 30. 17 again. Source Code. Free Jack. Prince of Persia. Butterfly Effect. Time Cop. Donnie Darko.
Oh, wow.
Deadpool 2. The Prisoner of Azkaban. She has a time turner. Synchronic. Deja Vu. Men in Black 3. Paycheck. Primer. Click. Planet of the Apes. The Mark Wahlberg movie. A Sound of Thunder. Timeline, The Tomorrow War, Warlock, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Justice League, and A Wrinkle in Time are 35 movies that do not appear on this list, many of them better than most of the movies on this list.
I would agree with that. Yep.
If you're going to write, Audrey Fox, if you're going to write an article about time travel movies ranked worst to best, first of all, get a more clear definition of what you mean by time travel. And then build a better list.
Let me ask you.
Maybe call me next time.
I was just about to say, you know what, Josh? I like to put the ball in your court, if I may. What if we, in the course of this episode to the next episode, we put together a list, right? And would you, instead of 1 through 20 or whatever, would you prefer to do a tier, like an S tier and then A tier, B tier?
I think that really worked when we did Pixar. Yeah.
I think we should tier those movies.
Just my 35 or be inclusive of the 20 on here?
No, I think we should be honest about the fact that Palm Springs, while a fantastic movie, go watch it. It's on Hulu. Is not a time travel movie, right?
We're excluding movies like Groundhog Day, Click,
Edge of
13
Tomorrow.
going on 30, Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah. Like, so we are excluding moment in time movies, only movies where someone travels through time.
Correct. And see what we can come up with. And I'd love to get Brian to do it too, and we'll have the 3 of us have our own tiering. We can publish that on our website so we can look at our tiering, and then we can on the show kind of go through and actually tier these ourselves.
Fine with that.
I think we're going to be doing some time travel stuff next time that we record. I'm excited for this. All right. So put together the list. If you would like, I could put this together and give it to the listeners so they can also do their own tiering. With that and compare the results versus ours. So I will put something in, and when I make that, I will put that into the feed, our Instagram feed, and everything else. I'll put it out there, and I want to see what you guys come up with. All right, I think you've given us some homework. I'm enjoying that. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, cool. Anything else you have to add?
Nope.
Thank you, listener, for making us whatever it is that we are in your life. Your walk around your neighborhood, your drive to work, whatever. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.